Hi, we have seen how to make a commit using Git terminal, and now let us see how to make a commit using the Git default editor and as well as the Visual Studio Code editor, which we have made the default editor for our Git. So let us start making the changes to one of our files. Say for example, example1. Here I am going to make a change with the message print modification for the fourth commit and then check the status. Let us add it to the staging area and then check the status. Now the file is ready to be committed. So as we said earlier, we are going to commit from the Visual Studio Code editor first. So let us type the command git commit and then press enter. And wait for some seconds. If you observe the Visual Studio Code editor, we can see a new text editing file is open and waiting for our commit message. Let us type the commit message as fourth commit modify example1 file. After that, save the file using Ctrl+S and then close it. Once we close the file, the commit will be added to the project and the Git will make a commit to our project. If we check the log history, we can see the newly committed commit and then the commit message. Suppose if the default editor is not set as the Visual Studio Code editor, then the Git will open a text editor inside the terminal. In order to illustrate that, we need to change the code editor of the Git. We can see the code editor of the Git inside the Git file .git config. To enter it, we need to type code space ~sign followed by the / and then .git config. Here we can see the text editor set for the Git terminal. Now if we run the code git config --global --unset code.editor, we can see the text editor has been removed from the .git config file, and now the Git uses its own default editor, which is Vim, as the default text editor. To illustrate this, I don't want to make a new commit for my main training project. So for that, I will create a new demo repository inside the F folder and use that repository to edit from the Git terminal. So let us create a directory called demo inside the F folder. Let us initialize this demo folder as the temporary Git repository using git init. In order to make a demo folder as the Git repository, let us enter into it and then initialize using git init. Now let us create a new file for the demonstration, say for example demo file. Now if we check the status, the file is untracked. And now let us add some text to it using the Git terminal. And for that, use the command nano and then the file name. A text editor will open inside the Git terminal, and to enter the text, press I and then type the text. Here I would like to enter a print statement. Added this line to commit from Git terminal. Now in order to save the text, use Ctrl+O, and then in order to exit, use Ctrl+X. Let us add it to the staging area using git add. Now let us check the status. We can see the file is in the staging area and ready to be committed. So now use the command git commit and then press enter. So here you can see a new text editor is opened to enter the commit inside the Git terminal. Let us enter the commit message. For that, type I added this line to commit from Vim editor of the Git terminal. Then, in order to close the text editor, press escape and type colon and W for saving the text, and then in order to quit with the saved text, type Q. That means colon WQ. If we don't want to save the changes, then we simply type Q in front of the colon, so it will then quit without any changes. But for the illustration purpose, I would like to change the changes means the commit message, so I am using WQ and then press enter. Now if we check the status of the log history using git log -- one line, we can see a newly made commit to our demo repository with the help of Git terminal, and also check the Git status. The working tree is clean and nothing to commit. So this is how we can make a commit using the Git terminal as well as using the default text editor which we had set instead of the Git's default text editor. Now, as per our main project, we need to maintain the Visual Studio Code editor as our default Git text editor. For that, we need to reset the Visual Studio Code editor as the default Git editor. So, in order to do so, we need to run the command git config -- global and then the name of the editor. In our case, it is code.editor and then followed by code space -- wait. Means once we make a commit using the Visual Studio Code editor, the code -- wait will wait for the git commit message. After adding a commit message and saving and closing the file, the git will return to its terminal. So that is the reason the message code dash dash wait is placed in front of the code editor. Press enter. Now we are set back to work with our main project, that is with the Visual Studio Code Editor as the default Git text editor for commit and code edition. We have already seen how to edit a file using the Visual Studio Code Editor using the command code followed by the file name or followed by the directory name, or if you are inside the Git repository, we can simply use the command code followed by the single dot. Here I would like to show we can also edit a single file using the code command. Say for example, code demo file. So if we just run this command, then the demo file will be opened in the Visual Studio Code Editor to make some changes. Here you can see the demo file has been opened in the Visual Studio Code Editor, but it is not related to the Git repository we are currently working on. This code command will open any file, means text file, inside the Visual Studio Code Editor to make a changes, means to edit a file inside it. So I'm not going to make any changes. I just showed you how to open a file to edit inside the Visual Studio Code Editor. Let us close this file and also the git configure file. So alright, we have seen how to use Git terminal as the code editor and VS Code as the default Git text editor, and also we have seen how to unset and set the VS Code editor with the Git commands. Let us meet in the next section with a new lesson.